not they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira, still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego die the politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, my ego don't come, my ego diary politics. Ayegun la wa mo la mo do. Ayegun diary, ayegun number one. Ayegun la wa mo, amo do. Ayegun diary, ayegun number one.
Hello there.
Ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Ayegun diary, ayegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí.
Congratulations will be in order to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That is the only thing left in Nigeria. Football, something that still unites the people, at least, before they wake up tomorrow, to their mysteries again. So yes, congratulations will be in order. Amazing guy. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Remember, share this broadcast. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today.
Lórí Facebook, and yes, we like Lórí YouTube, and yes, we like
At the point, people were asking, shitty man, leave that stadium. Take your bad luck away. Please leave that place. I mean, I love the hysteria.
Yes, we like
In fairness, I didn't really watch the match, but I followed the game. APC, Egbekegbe are asking and begging Atiku and Obi to give Tinubu ideas on how to fix Nigeria economy, insecurity, and all the maladies facing Nigeria. Instead of criticizing him, they want them to give him ideas now. Can you even believe that? And I will always respect internet. The internet never forgets. As the bigots are crying, Their tears are flooding my entire street. Yoruba Ronu to Yoruba Ponus and then the Ronu Nazis. Tell them that Mutide. Motide. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I sort of shared a copy of a supposed press release from the APC, Egbekegbe, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, Apààyàn People's Congress. Some said that Apanijaye People's Congress, whatever you want to call them, just remember to add Egbekegbe, and Egbekegbe is the bad society. Now, that is exactly what APC represent, by the way. However, those who told you that Tinubu has been planning to be Nigeria president for the past 30 years, Baba, within the space of 9 months, Nigeria is currently at the departure lounge. And the same characters who wanted to gaslight you, call you names to keep you quiet, they themselves are pretty much unable to keep quiet anymore because hunger no be anybody's mate. You can pretend for all you care. On social media, it seems that we are all okay. We're all doing fine. Rich people. Fantastic. But off the social media, Baba, whatever you are reading right now, all lamentation complaints you are currently seeing on social media, can never be compared to the ones that are really physical out there. I am saying that to you because I have evidence. People can't really pretend any much longer. I am not saying that those who are complaining most, the loudest of them who told you will cry for 8 years, Baba, 8 months, their tears are already flooding our streets. Now, those, like I said, those ones, which are pretty much like, there are those who are adding spice to it. So, some of you who never expected anything from Tinubu, you are not disappointed, even though you are also affected. But somehow, a lot of you have found a way to sort of embrace what you knew was coming that you probably couldn't stop. So those who called you names, those who found the ember of a division, ember of ethnic division, religious division, and all of them, they cannot pretend for too long. What in Shege from Tinubu, they have already started cursing him. But remember this, that does not mean they will not do it again. Do not believe in their tears per se. Just remember the Yoruba adage that says, when the eye is producing goes, what do? You what? You will remove the speck, the peck, you will remove that. Sorry, in Scotland they call it gooey. So anyway, you will remove the peck and show the eyes that see the death you have just produced. Tí ojú bá ti ń ṣe ìpín, a máa ń yọ ìpín yẹn, àwa fi hàn ojú ká tó sọnù. The reason why we will continue to flung it on their faces and continue to remind them that we might not be able to understand the anguish and pain that they are trying to express. But somehow, we just want to remind them that they are the cause and the causes of their own unfortunate, situation. And if they continue in that trajectory, if they are not killed by it, they will be totally destroyed. Show it to them. Because the clowns that they told you that Tinubu was going to appoint, you didn't need his head. You don't need his body. You don't need his whatever. You only needed his brain. Now his brain has dipped you further in abject poverty that they are already telling you, you better brace up. It is not ending soon. And I will also tell you tonight why it is so easy to predict everything that will happen in Nigeria, especially economically. Easy budget. If you pay attention to detail, I will share that with you again tonight. So yesterday, I believe, they called those three clowns, three thieves that are running your country. Baba, make I tell you about them. The first one is Kadobi Abi Kadibi Abi Kadio Oduduwa Emefiole, which is in charge of their central bank, making monetary policies that are pretty much like a copy and paste of Emefiole's policies that led Nigeria to this. Then they had the former commissioner for finance in Lagos, Wale Edun, the characters that helped Tinubu to establish his fiefdom in Lagos and siphoned every penny that they could steal from Lagos for the past 24 years. Those who laid the foundation, Wale Edun is in charge of your finance ministry. Sonny Abacha's bagman, the man that helped Sonny Abacha to siphon billions of dollars out of Nigeria during the reign of that despot, Sonny Abacha. I am talking about Abubakar Bagudu. Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the former governor of Kebbi State, who also pretty much is also one of the governors that have been, touted to have also looted their state. A criminal that helped the former despot to loot Nigeria blind, and he was compensated being a governor. He continued looting it, and afterward, he became the national planning minister for Nigeria. The person that is planning your national economy and whatever it is called is the former bagman for Abacha. Three of them now went straight into the House of Thieves. The House of Representatives, they call themselves. And according to Wale Edun, it was like Tinubu met a dead country. That's what he said. A collapsed country. Boko Haram already finished Nigeria. Right now. Tinubu didn't say that to you. Every time he sees Boko Haram, it will be prostrating, bending, and like, you know what I mean? So he didn't say that to you, but they know a lot of you will never possibly watch it or see it. But he said it anyway. So whatever you are going through right now under APC, ladies and gentlemen, you will need to continue going. We'll stop by in that assembly. Pick all he said, okay? And then, like I said, if you are one of those that are still believing that they are doing something to help you out of this pit they are dipping you in, I am telling you something. The fact that you are expecting them, that you are thinking they are doing something, is not different from you digging the hole that they have dipped you in, right? You, instead of you to find a way to get out, you are digging hole more. Your silence, your quietness, your expectation of these rogues, right? In another 6 months, what they told you in June 2023 is what they are telling you right now in January, February 2024. By the time you get to July 2024, they will tell you the same thing. But then your situation would have been like, oh my God. And I'm not making it up. Listen to this, the first one. This is Wale Edun.
Representatives, the leadership of the House of Representatives, honorable members, good afternoon. Let me start by, on behalf of my colleagues here and indeed the rest of the economic management team, which I have the privilege to lead, thank you all for this opportunity at this all-important dialogue. I also will, at this time, the very first time we're interacting after the passage of the 2024 budget. Thank you on behalf of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for your support in swiftly passing his budget and your collaboration and cooperation generally. We have heard from my colleagues, and naturally, they have virtually covered the field. Where we are as a nation economically is a much, much better place than we were on the 29th of May, 2023. We have heard from the governor of Central Bank. He talked about the unsustainability. He talked about the importance of sustainability before the implementation of the 8-point agenda of the president began. We were in an unsustainable place in terms of the fiscal situation of Nigeria. We were on the road to economic disaster. We had expenditure which was wasteful and unsustainable by way of the subsidy, not just on fuel, but the subsidy on foreign exchange, which confused the incentive framework, and people were chasing cheap dollars in order to make instant profits. Of course, in turning back from that road, as we have heard, there will be dust. However, bold measures have been taken, and there have been positive results. If we look at the finances of the government today, there has been benefit to the federation accounts. There has been reduction in the consumption of petrol by about 20 million liters because there was smuggling, apart from even wasteful use of that all-important resource. And likewise, there have been other benefits which have accrued as a result of the changes that have been made. However, there has been cost. Inflation has increased. The cost of living has spiked. And right from the onset, Mr. President committed to making sure that the poorest and the most vulnerable were not left behind. And that's why, as we heard earlier from the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the palliatives, the interventions have been rolled out. But let us examine exactly where we are today after a series of economic reforms and intervention measures. And I will come back to the all-important issue of helping Nigerians with the cost of living. But first,
nuisance lele.
Now, be honest with me. Could you pick any sense in what he said in that 4-minute video? Could anybody pick any sense from that? Let us start with him admitting that he said Nigeria was headed for economic disaster as at May 29, 2023. Write that down. Economic disaster. Who was taking Nigeria to economic disaster? Bokwari APC. Then he now said, with the activities of some people collecting subsidy on dollars, Baba, be honest, she na me and you collected subsidy on dollars. Who were the characters of people that were given subsidy on dollars? Where are those people today? Where is the traces of amount of dollars given to people on subsidy? And where are those people today?
They are APC, Egbekegbe. Then he went on. He said wasteful money on subsidy. That since Tinubu removed subsidy, the usage of petrol in Nigeria has reduced by 20 million. Abi? So which means somehow they have saved a lot of money. But when you ask them, where is the money? He also said, Tinubu rolled out palliatives. Hey, make I remind you, okay? Tinubu told, what do you call it? Tinubu told the national, what do you call that silo where they keep all this agricultural produce? They call it silo, where they store them. Tinubu told the people in charge of that to release grains to cushion the effect of subsidy. And by so doing, they will give people rice, maize. We all saw how that went, yo. A lot of you only saw the video. And for those who saw the rice, some of them probably, they just said, open your hands. And you open your hands, they just put some on your hands and say, yeah, go home. That's your share. Okay? Tinubu said they will pay you 88,000 naira every month from the money saved from subsidy. How many of you have been paid that penny yet? None. Tinubu told workers that they will be paid 35,000 naira extra on their monthly salaries for the next 6 months before they will now discuss the minimum wage. They paid that 35,000 naira once. Nobody received them again. And this was about 5 months ago. All of this palliative that clown is talking about there, I am asking you again, did you pick any point, any sense from what he said? Okay, maybe you will see some point in this. Those are the clowns they told you are working to make Nigeria work. And you who has little brains or some brains in your head, you sit down there and you believe that. You are now waiting for the result of their action. Baba, ebi alakpadupe. You make be alakpadupe. You go get hungry. Sote, you go watch others who are also hungry, like member of the family. And just right before your very eyes, you go to see some people, they take their last breath. They no sick you, na hunger. And as they are taking their last breath, you will be thanking God. Thank God I am still alive, even though I am hungry. So you'll be thanking God. In Yoruba land, we call it ebi alakpadupe. Maybe some points here, Sha.
Representatives as a year from oil sales. So we can see the adjustment that has had to be made. Now we are on the way back up. 1.65 million barrels a day and rising. And in addition, the Minister for Budget had said that the bold measures that were taken are resonating around the world. We go to the IMF meetings, UNGA meetings, G20 meetings, and there is nothing but pride and admiration and deep respect for the courage that has been shown economically in Nigeria. And what has also resounded is that we have to look inwards. We have to focus on domestic resource mobilization. The chairman, FIRS, has said what they are doing in terms of domestic resource mobilization. I can tell you that with the application of technology and this august body and the Senate, if you look at the Hansard of December 30, the Senate mandated that we go out and bring government revenue that was lying in MDAs and government-owned enterprises, but rightly belonged in in the Consolidated Revenue Fund to bring it in. And that has been done. And the results are a rise in revenue to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Similarly, in agriculture, if we need to stabilize the economy, two things need to happen. Inflation needs to be tackled. The governor of Central Bank has said what is being done. He has announced his targets for inflation, and the fact that inflation targeting will be a key element of the strategy, which is right because they're in charge of the targets of monetary policy. But in addition to that, when you look at inflation, a large element is food inflation. In fact, food inflation accounts for 33% of the consumer price index. So when you attack food production, raise food production, you bring down the price of food, you bring down inflation, you get a chance to bring down interest rates, and there lies the road to investment. I was recently in Nasarawa. I met all the stakeholders in the agricultural chain, and they were able to commit with confidence to a very good dry season harvest. And we know all the steps that have been taken to intervene in that sector, from fertilizer, from grain supply, to funding for rice, maize, wheat, and cassava to bring under production 400,000 hectares. So these are the steps that are being taken to get inflation down, to stabilize the economy, and prepare for investment. And I will also add that in terms of production, industry requires energy. I chair a power sector steering committee to deal with the issues in that sector. And on the issue of interventions, I must return to it. We are talking about increases in revenue available to all tiers of government through the federation account. And we are also talking about the ability of the federal government.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
It's already pissing me off. And I'm so sorry that I had to subject you to that kind of a trauma, to sit down there and begin to try to figure out any sense from what he's saying. None of them addresses anything. But there is one, okay, which apart from just words, there is no substance behind it. It's talking about food inflation. You know, everybody is complaining right now. They are hungry. Things are too expensive. People cannot afford to feed or all of that stuff. That seems to be the loudest complaint. I would say hunger, food. So normally you ask yourself, how can Nigeria not grow our own food? It is not because Nigerians can't grow their own food. But when you have government that have turned insecurity into business, and they have turned terrorism into an industry, your economy is expected to suffer greatly. Of course, you need power to run your industries, productions, and all of that. You need power to power the homes and to power your machineries and all that. Great. But majority of the raw materials that will end up in your machineries, in your industries, in your factories and all of that, they were supposed to come from the farms, majority of them. But for the past 12 years, terrorists up north and their sponsor, they have unleashed a never seen before jihad on Nigeria and the rest of Nigeria. And the politicians, successive politicians, since this began, successive politicians have taken advantage of that to line their own pockets. And the people, they were left at their own, to their own fate. Farmers were slaughtered, kidnapped, farms were ransacked, destroyed. While all of this were going on, even Nigeria. Now, you may not be able to quantify how much people lost to the Fulani terrorism alone. You may not be able to quantify it individually, but we can use the template of the loss of the Central Bank of Nigeria that borrowed money from the AFDB, African Development Bank, where Akinwumi Adesina, the former agriculture minister in Nigeria, is their president. They collected loan from AFDB, agriculture loan they called it. And it was to help farmers in Nigeria to grow food. So that when Bokwari shut the borders of Nigeria, which practically means the southern border. Northern borders there is no border in the north. All right? Shutting the border of Nigeria, they said, in a year, Nigeria will have food sufficiency and it will be sustained. In fact, they encouraged people. They were giving interest-free loans to some people in northern Nigeria to open fertilizer factories so that they can continue to manufacture fertilizers for farmers. Now, they were manufacturing fertilizers. Nigeria, Bokwari's government was subsidizing it. They were giving them to farmers, and they were also giving them money. They were cultivating lands for them, but they couldn't protect them. Over 2 trillion naira investments, wasted because there was no security. That was on the part of the federal government too. Federal government that went outside to borrow money, but had no security to protect the investment. They ended up filling bags with sawdusts in order to display them as pyramid rice in Abuja. They did not fear that it could rain. Rice that people will eat. They transported them into open space. Conform pyramid. Took pictures as the success of their agricultural revolution. But guess what? It never changed the price of food. Instead of the price of food to go down in Nigeria, at least you know the story now. Here you get. They can't provide security. But he just mentioned in his speech there that they have cultivated 400,000 hectares of land in the north, where they are growing millet, maize, and all of that. And you, we get sense. You believe him, Abi? In 6-7 months' time, you'll be asking them, when are you going to harvest the 400,000 acres of land you cultivated? The one you told us in October. They begin to tell you story again. It go turn to fight again. Everything will be like, they are still working on it. Even if they have to go and take pictures of people's farms to show you. But the price of food in the market will never be affected. How many of you remember this lady? I love internet, Baba. Do you remember this lady? In February 2023, after the Yorubas and then others in Lagos destroyed the criminal structure that Tinubu and his Agberos continue to brag about, shame them, trash them. A girl, a lady like this, took to social media. First, she danced. The second, she called out the Yorubas who rejected Tinubu as Omoale Yorubas, who sold their father's houses to Igbos. And that is why they are supporting Obi and they are rejecting Tinubu. Internet never forgets. 8 months, we are going back to that National Assembly again anyway. But do you remember this lady?
Jagun jagun lombo. Aṣíwájú ogun akọ̀bí ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹ́yìn ogun. Jagunjagun ló ń bọ̀. Àkànbí adé general politician ni.
Ẹ má ṣàgídí Ọlọ́run ló ń pín. Ẹ má ṣàgídí Ọlọ́run ló ń pín. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ gbà fún Tinubu. Olórí burúkú ọmọ àlè Yorùbá. Ó ti talé bàbá ó ti gbé fún Ìgbò. Òun ló ṣe ń ka lára. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣe lásìmọ̀ àmàràn jùlẹ̀. máa jẹ́ kó gbà lọ́wọ́ Tinubu àbí neighborhood máa ranjú lẹ̀ àbí ló máa ranjú lẹ̀ àwọn Yíbò nìyẹn bó ṣe wà nínú Olúwọlé tó ń ṣe bísínẹ́sì wọn tó Peter Obi yìí ló dìbò fún ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú ọmọ àlè Yorùbá ẹ wá ń bèèrè pé kí ni Tinubu ṣe ẹ lè rí nǹkan tí Tinubu ṣe gbà tó wà ní gọ́vnà láti Ọbalẹ́ndé títí dé Tom Jones òun ló la títì òun ló ṣe títì ló ṣe kọ́tà kí gbogbo everybody rìn bó ṣe hùn ó tún ṣe wọnú Tom Jones tó ní anybody máa rìn bó ṣe hùn ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú àwọn bèèrè pé kí ni Tinubu fẹ́ ṣe fún kí ni Peter Obi fẹ́ ṣe fún wa ìgbà tí Buhari ọlọ́run bíi ọrùn àgùnfọ́ tó fẹ́ wọlé ó ní màálù ẹyọ kan lòun ní Peter Obi tuntun já búrẹ́dì lé wa lọ́wọ́ pàgọ́ ẹyọ kan lòun ní pàgọ́ ẹyọ kan lòun ní wọ́n wá débẹ̀ tán wọ́n wá dọkọ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí Tinubu náà ṣe ẹ jẹ́ kóun náà ṣe ẹ jẹ́ kó ṣe ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú tẹ́tí múlẹ̀ bàbá yín tẹ́tí ta fún Yíbò tẹ́ ẹ̀ tún sẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ Èkó tí sojú títì tí ẹ tún ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lé bàbá yín olórí burúkú yín ló ní ti Tinubu bá wò gbogbo tó bá dẹ̀ ti Tinubu bá wò ó máa jẹun ló máa ṣanwó lódò ni ẹni kìlọ̀ ṣé ẹ lè rí nǹkan tó ṣe ẹ lè rí àwa tá a rí nǹkan tó ṣe à ń forí ṣe à ń fọhùn ṣe fún ojú yín ní yegede yìí òun ló ń ka yẹn kó tí ẹsẹ tó dùn mí fún jù àwọn tètè ọ̀sà kò sí títì létí ọ̀sà tẹ́lẹ̀ kò sí títì létí ọ̀sà igbó ni gbogbo wa ń tẹ̀ ó wá ń wá tó wá là yín lójú ẹ wá wí tẹ wá ní Peter Obi ẹjọ Yíbò mélòó ló dìbò fún Tinubu ẹ̀yin olórí burúkú ẹ̀yin ọmọ alẹ́ Yorùbá ẹ wá lọ ń tẹ̀ka fún Peter Obi tí wọn bá wà kọsẹ̀já ayé yín dáadáa ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn ìyá yín pé ta ló dún bàbá yín lóyún Yíbò ni kò ń ṣe Yorùbá Yíbò òun ni kò ń ṣe Yorùbá ẹni Tinubu bá wò Tinubu kí ló fẹ́ ṣe fún yín ẹ lọ́pọ̀lọ́ ẹ ti dọ́bà ọmọ tó bí lànà kò lọ́pọ̀lọ́ tó Tinubu ẹni kọ̀tọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ ló ń sọ wọ́wọ́wọ́ ló ń sọ wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ ló ń sọ Peter Obi ọ̀sọ̀ wọ́wọ́wọ́ tó lágbo ẹyọ kan lòun ní ó ní bàtà ẹyọ kan lòun ní bàtà yóò ń ṣe wèrè èèyàn tó sọ wípé bàtà ẹyọ kan lòun ó yẹ ká ti kà kú pé wèrè ni wèrè ló ń wọ bàtà ẹyọ kan wèrè ló ń wọ bàtà ẹyọ kan ló ń lo agbo ẹyọ kan ọmọ tó bí lànà gòjè sọ pé bàtà ẹyọ kan lòun ní ẹbí bí bàbá ọlọ́run jìráàfù bó ṣe dé nìyẹn tó ní Tinubu ò lọ́rùn ṣóun lọ́rùn sí òun lọ́rùn sí ó ní ṣó ń ta mọ́tò ni ṣóun náà ń ta mọ́tò ni ẹ mọ iye ọ̀kadà tó mọ ẹ fi lásídẹ̀ǹtì ẹ mọ iye ọ̀kadà tó fi lásídẹ̀ǹtì tó rà gọ̀ àwa Yorùbá gọ̀ tá a bá gọ̀ ni ẹ̀yin Yorùbá ẹ máa mú ó ṣe jẹ́ pé nǹkan Yorùbá tiwa ni ò ń jọ wá lójú ẹ jẹ́ kí nǹkan tiwa náà máa jọ wá lójú ẹ jẹ́ kó ṣe ẹ fi lọ́rùn lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pa Abíọ́lá ẹ má pa á ATS ló máa ṣe lójú ẹ̀mí ni aṣojú mẹ́jọ yẹn.
jagunjagun.
8 years ló máa ṣe. I am sorry for those who probably didn't understand Yoruba, but I'll tell you what she said, okay? First, she danced, and it's like a warrior dance. Sure, you get it's like a war dance by a warrior and all that, by warriors, so to say. Olórí ogun ò gbọ́dọ̀ kẹ́yìn ogun, jagun ló ń bọ̀. What that means is, in this song was saying that the leader of the leader of a battalion, the leader of the war, will not stay behind the battalion, his own army. He will lead his own army. Then she turned to that rage and rant. According to her, she said, only the unfortunate Yorubas rejected Tinubu. She said, those unfortunate Yorubas who have sold their parents' houses to Igbos, they were the ones who decided to go and vote for Peter Obi and rejected their own blood, Tinubu. She said, if they investigate many of these Yorubas that rejected Tinubu, they will realize that they are not real Yorubas. So they will realize that they should go and ask their mothers. They will realize that their mothers were impregnated by Igbos. He said a lot of you were complaining that Tinubu is what do you call it? Is sick. And she was like, let her do it. I mean, let him do it too. Let Tinubu do it too. Peter Obi said he only has one watch, one wristwatch, one shoe. Does that make any sense to all of you? That's how they lied to you. That's how Bokwari came and he lied to all of you. Bokwari said he only had one cow. So Peter Obi is now saying he only had one wristwatch. He only had one shoe. Is that not a sign for you to know that he is a liar? That he is coming there to that now when he comes to power, he will now be Lord all over you. and all of that stuff. That leave Tinubu, it will do 8 years and there's nothing you can do about it. Amen, sister. Let's dance again. Now, fast forward to 9 months later, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dance again.
Jagun jagun ló ń bọ̀. Aṣíwájú ogun àkàndé ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣẹ́yìn ogun. Jagun jagun ló ń bọ̀. Àkàndé adé general politician ni.
Búra wa jẹ́, à ń búra wa jẹ́ kiri. Oúnjẹ àárọ̀ ò bá tọ̀sán mọ́. Oúnjẹ ọ̀sán ò bá talẹ́ mọ́. Kí ló dé? Ẹ̀yin APC tábà ìṣe máa jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì ṣe. Ẹ má pa wá tó díẹ̀díẹ̀. Àwọn kidnapper ò tún jẹ́ agbádùn. Àwọn kidnapper ò tún jẹ́ agbádùn. A lè sún àlè wà ní security. Kò síná kò sómi, kò sóúnjẹ kò sí nǹkan kan. Kí ló dé? Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣàánú wa. Ẹ ṣàánú wa. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣàánú àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù náà. Gbogbo àwọn àgbàlagbà ti kú tán, ọmọdé kékeré ti kú tán, ebi ló pa wọ́n. Tẹ́ ẹ bá rí ṣe mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ lẹ̀. Ṣé báwọn aládìbò fún yín? Àwọn aládìbò fún yín. Mo wà láàrin ọjà níjẹta. Wọ́n ń fà mí láṣọ báyìí ni pé madam jẹ́ báyìí lẹ́bàá di sọ́kà ká dìbò fún APC. APC náà ládìbò fún ilé bí ń pa wá. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nídìí ọ̀tẹ̀ yìí. Ọ̀tẹ̀ máa bá yín tọmọtọmọ ni. Ọ̀tẹ̀ máa bá yín tọmọ. Indomie tá a rà 50 naira. Ó ti di 500 naira. Kí ló dé agolo ráìsì? 1,300. Ṣé gbèsè ayé là ń gbé yìí? Ṣé gbèsè ayé là ń gbé yìí? Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ká pariwo. Èrúmùsẹ̀ 400,000. Èrúmùsẹ̀ 400,000. Kí ló dé? Kí ló dé? Wọ́n gbé 70,000 wá sínú yàrá kan. Kí là ń lò níná? Kí ló dé? Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà ẹ ti sùn. Ẹ ti sùn, ẹ dìde lẹ̀. Àwọn ìjọba fẹ́ pa wá. Wọ́n fẹ́ pa wá, gbogbo nǹkan ti gbówó lórí. Tinubu, Buhari, sínétọ̀. Ní èpè máa bá yín tọmọtọmọ. Ẹsẹ̀ tó ń ṣe dẹni tí ò lè ṣe mọ́. Ayé yìí ti bàjẹ́. Ẹ̀yin APC, Tinubu tó bá ti mọ̀ pé òun ṣe mọ́ gbé sílẹ̀. Tó bá ti mọ̀ pé òun lè rí ṣe mọ́ gbé sílẹ̀. Kí ló dé o fẹ́ pa wá ni? Àwọn NEPA tún gbé tiwọn wá. Adédìbò olórí burúkú ọmọ àlè Ìbàdàn. Láti ọjọ́ tí mo ti dé láyé mi mọ̀ pé sọ́sídì wà lórí iná. Inú 2024 ni mo mọ̀ pé sọ́sídì wà lórí iná. Ó tún lóun bẹ̀rẹ̀ sọ́sídì orí owó náà NEPA tá à ń lò. Yàrá kan ni mò ń gbé, fáànù nìkan ni mo ní. Wọ́n gbé 70,000 wá bẹ̀. Ẹ máa ṣòfò tọmọtọmọ ni. Gbogbo èyí tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń rúdù Nàìjíríà pátápátá. Indomie tá a rà 50 naira. Ó ti di 500 naira. Kí ló dé agolo ráìsì? 1,300. Ṣé gbèsè ayé là ń gbé yìí? Ṣé gbèsè ayé là ń gbé yìí? Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ká pariwo. Èrúmùsẹ̀ 400,000. Èrúmùsẹ̀ 400,000. Kí ló dé? Kí ló dé? Wọ́n gbé 70,000 wá sínú yàrá kan. Kí là ń lò níná? Kí ló dé? Búra wa jẹ́, à ń búra wa jẹ́ kiri. Oúnjẹ àárọ̀ ò bá tọ̀sán mọ́. Oúnjẹ ọ̀sán ò bá talẹ́ mọ́. Kí ló dé? Ẹ̀yin APC tábà ìṣe máa jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì ṣe. Ẹ má pa wá tó díẹ̀díẹ̀. Àwọn kidnapper ò tún jẹ́ agbádùn. Àwọn kidnapper ò tún jẹ́ agbádùn. A lè sún àlè wà ní security. Kò síná kò sómi, kò sóúnjẹ kò sí nǹkan kan. Kí ló dé? Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣàánú wa. Ẹ ṣàánú wa. Ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ ṣàánú àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù náà. Gbogbo àwọn àgbàlagbà ti kú tán, ọmọdé kékeré ti kú tán, ebi ló pa wọ́n. Tẹ́ ẹ bá rí ṣe mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ lẹ̀. Ṣé báwọn aládìbò fún yín? Àwọn aládìbò fún yín. Mo wà láàrin ọjà níjẹta. Wọ́n ń fà mí láṣọ báyìí ni pé madam jẹ́ báyìí lẹ́bàá di sọ́kà ká dìbò fún APC. APC náà ládìbò fún.
Àti ṣe bó, àti ṣe tẹ́, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àti ṣe tẹ́, òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àti ṣe tẹ́, kágbádé fálárì, àti ṣe tẹ́, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àti ṣe tẹ́ adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àti ṣe tẹ́ òtìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àti ṣe tẹ́ èdò gbówó mi ń tẹ́, àti ṣe tẹ́ ìjà ń jà aráàlú, àti ṣe tẹ́. Àti ṣe bó, àti ṣe tẹ́, àti ṣetẹ́ àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́ àti ṣetẹ́ òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́ àti ṣetẹ́ kágbọ́dé fáláre àti ṣetẹ́ kágbẹ̀bí fáláre àti ṣetẹ́ adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó àti ṣetẹ́ òtìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò àti ṣetẹ́ èdò gbówó mi ń tẹ́.
ẹ ti ṣetẹ́ ẹ ti ṣebo. That's the lady there. And like I told you, just watch them. Wèrè dùn wò ni wọ́n ṣe ní lọ́mọ. If you have a son or a daughter that sees Tinubu as a role model, oh, bímọ, you have no children. And listen to me, if your parents are somehow defender of Tinubu APC, ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́, ní parenti. God just used them to bring you to this mystery world, you need. And this, you may not understand. It's okay. You will still understand it. You know what I mean? So, when you have people like that, you do a Romobi. You know, pure waste of oxygen, so to say. They will do it again. They will. They will curse, they will cry, they will do all of that. But let somebody call her and say, how much is your rent? Let me tell you why she's screaming, so that you can know. That lady that was cursing Yoruba almost a year ago for Tinubu. She's now cursing Tinubu, cursing the people and everybody in APC. Here you get, she's like, we are hungry. Everything is expensive now. A cup of rice, 18 cup of rice is now 1,200. The NEPA bill, the electricity